Hi guys, my name's Katie and today I'm going to show you how to make a braided statement necklace. This braided statement necklace was my inspiration made by Alicia, and I'm going to show you today my take on her statement necklace. So let's go over the materials that you'll need to make this necklace. A flat nose plier, a chain nose plier, a cutter, a crimping plier. This is the Tara crimping plier. Some stringing wire of your choice. You're going to need beads, chain. Metal spacers are really great to add into your design. You're going to need a bunch of bead stoppers, which are these for when you string all your beads, a clasp, and some quick links that you will use the crimp tubes to crimp your strands onto. And then also I like to always have a lot of extender chain. The first thing you'll need to do is gather your beads and your stringing wire. And I've already pre-strung all my beads, but I want to show you how to get started if you've never done that before. So just cut about, I always like to have more than enough, cut about 3 feet of wire per strand, depending on the length of the necklace. And then grab one of your bead stoppers and open it up, put it on the end of your wire. So now you can string all your beads onto this and they won't fall off. So now it's secure. And some of these I actually ended up tying knots on one end because I ran out of bead stoppers, but you need a lot of bead stoppers to do this project. So I recommend stocking up on those. So the next thing you're gonna do is just string all of your beads. And in this setup, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strands. And I'm also going to be adding in some chain of some sort. I'm not sure which one yet. As you're stringing, kind of go, I like to twist them up and kind of look at the design and see what is working and what's not color-wise. Once you've strung all your beads, you're going to start crimping them. For this portion, I love to crimp to a closed link, which I use quick links that we sell at JTV. They come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. I'm gonna use the larger size of quick link since I've got a lot of strands going on. If you've never crimped before, it's really awesome and it's one of the foundations of jewelry making. These are 2mm crimp tubes. They're easy to lose, but they hold everything together basically. You're gonna need a crimping plier as well. And this is the Tara crimper that we sell at JTV. It's amazing, it's invented by Laura Gasparini. And the cool thing about it is you can crimp with one squeeze. So grab the end of one of your strands and slide a crimp tube onto the end. Make sure you've got a lot of give on the other side because we'll be working with the other side after we crimp all of one side. Okay, so slide your crimp tube on and then grab your quick link and wrap your beading wire around it and back through the crimp tube. Like so. And make sure that there's enough room for that to have some movement. You don't want it to be too tied up to the ring or it will damage your beading wire. And with your Tara crimper, you're just gonna squeeze that crimp tube with the set of grooves furthest away. And you just have to squeeze one time and now it's secure. You can see when you look at it, there are little divots in it. And some people will go back in and squeeze with the tip of the plier, just kind of squeeze that together. but it's totally up to you. And then once you do that, you can trim this little tail off. So we're gonna leave the bead stopper on the other end, and we're gonna crimp one side of every strand here. And if it's chain, you'll just open up one of the links to attach it or use a jump ring. So I'll show you what I mean. With this chain, it has an open link here. So I'm just gonna grab my flat nose plier, my chain nose plier, and twist that open, just like a jump ring, basically. Put it on my quick link and close it back up. Now I'm gonna go through and crimp one side of each strand to the same link. Okay, now we are going to braid, and this is just a common 3-strand braid, and I'm gonna separate these out into groups of 2 or 3. So to braid, you take the left strand, this strand here, go over the middle, and take the top strand and go to the middle. Take the bottom strand, go to the middle, top strand to the middle, you can kind of scoot it out on your surface to keep it, to make it more full. Bottom strand to the middle, top strand to the middle, and you just repeat that pattern over and over. And as you go, just look at the way your beads are laying, and it kind of determines on how tight you want your braid to be or how loose and relaxed. So I'm just gonna keep braiding like this. Okay, now I'm done with my braid, and I'm going to leave all the bead stoppers on and try to keep everything in place, but also pick up the piece and just make sure everything is looking okay. Just kind of pick it up, see if you like it. If not, you can always redo your braid. And wherever your ends are, I guess actually I will move this to the center. So lay it down and kind of tap it out flat so everything is in place, and then lay the very ends of these strands out again separately. It doesn't really matter if it's still exactly in the perfect braid here. It's up to you, but it will look good. And I can tell this one's very short. So I'm gonna do this one first. Grab your other quick link and your crimp tubes again and your crimping plier. And this side is gonna be pretty much the same as the other side, but this time when you go back through your crimp tube, you wanna pull it tight. So I'm gonna start with this strand here because it's the shortest and I just know that it needs to be a certain length. But I'm gonna keep this one pretty loose because as I continue to crimp, the braid is going to weave more closely together. So I'm just gonna leave probably about that much room with this one. Okay, so now I've got that on there. I'm just gonna pull, pull, pull. And I'm gonna leave some slack in these because it just works best with the braid. Okay, so I've got some slack and I'm just gonna squeeze it in the set of grooves here one time. And then trim that end off. And I'm just going to continue doing that over and over again and kind of look at my design as I go. And we'll see what happens. I'm gonna set this here beside me so that when I take my beads off, I can just knock them over there. You'll have to take off if any of the strands are longer, make sure you take off those extra beads. You want them all to be generally the same length. As I'm going along, I am just kind of picking up the other side with the quick link and just kind of pulling on it to make sure everything is still working. And I'm about to crimp this turquoise strand, and I can see that I want the crimp to be about right here. So I'm just gonna mark that with my hand and then take my bead stopper off and get rid of those beads. So now I can crimp. The last thing is this little chain strand, and this is a good chance if you feel like you need to, you can weave it back in and kind of fill out the space in the braid, but I think for me it looks good. Once again, just open up that last link with your pliers. Take off that extra and attach it to your quick link. So now we're almost done. All that's left to do is attach a clasp and some extender chain on both of the quick links with jump rings. So I love to do a bigger chain for an extender because then you can wear it shorter or longer. And here's my clasp, little lobster claw. And I'm gonna need some jump rings. Now let's attach the clasp and the extender with these jump rings. Just twist them open with your pliers, put them on the quick link. And when I'm doing a clasp on these, I like to do a couple of jump rings in a row before I put the clasp on. And then close it back up. And lastly, the little extender. Twist that open, put it on. And twist it closed. And you can cut that to whatever length you want it to be. You can also add a little dangle here if you want, but you're basically done. So now we've made our braided statement necklace inspired by Alicia, and let's go over the materials one more time. You're gonna need these tools: a cutter, a crimping plier. This is the Tara crimper, flat nose plier, chain nose plier, stringing wire. This is 19 strand, 0.46 millimeter by BEADING. You will need a bunch of crimp tubes. These are 2 millimeter, jump rings, a bunch of bead stoppers, and you're gonna need a bunch of beads. You're gonna need metal beads, chain, whatever you decide to design with. You will need 2 closed rings for this part of the necklace. These are quick links. And then you'll need a lobster claw clasp, or the clasp of your choosing, and some extender chain. Thank you so much for tuning in to watch the braided statement necklace demo. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. What beads would you use in your necklace? Let us know in the comments below. Also, in the description below, you can check out all the tools and supplies we used for this necklace. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Thanks for watching.